Never allowed a TV camera crew inside their home before today. So we were able to see firsthand who this couple is outside of their first Facebook Lives. They discuss raising their two young daughters and how family inspires the work that they do. Our extensive conversations with this couple, we think, show a different side of the Zuckerbergs, both at home and at work. Priscilla, how do you handle all of the incoming that goes to Facebook, that goes to Mark specifically?
I think it's hard. Like, the way your gut feels when your best friend comes home and it's like, hard day, not sure what needs to come next. Or, you know, waking up at night and being like, he's still not in bed. And so I see that. I also see that we're still so fortunate. Like, the touchstone of our family and our kids, and just knowing that we're okay. What can we actually bring to the table?
It's that family that motivated them to build the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, a now 4-year-old company funding achievements in medical science and other fields. I love that it's Chan Zuckerberg, not Zuckerberg Chan. Mm-hmm. The couple launched it just days after the birth of their first daughter. So in order to truly understand the origins of this huge philanthropic endeavor, you really have to go back home. Honey, I'm home.
Yeah.
Come on in.
To meet Max, the little girl who unknowingly started it all, now joined by her little sister, August.
Augie, can you say hi to Gail?
Hi, August. Hi, August.
Who recently had a birthday?
Me.
Me. How old did you turn?
4.
4.
How do you raise children when you can really give them anything materially to be grounded?
Well, I think first of all, we don't give them everything, so I think that that's an important piece, but they also just have responsibilities.
So you're saying you teach them that they have chores?
They have chores.
Your kids have chores?
Yeah, they have
They have
responsibilities.
chores, they have responsibilities.
Yeah.
We also take them to work. Mark and I take both of them to work, to the office, to see sort of like what we do, how we contribute.
So how do you not bring work home, guys? You work together, you live together?
Well, I disagree with the premise of that question.
I mean, work comes home. We care deeply about our work, and so we don't leave it at the door, but we are super careful about thinking about, is this the moment to talk about it?
I guess it was when you kept on bringing up work on date night.
How often is date night, and what is date night?
We're pretty good about this.
Every week.
We do it every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
And no work talk on date night?
No work talk.
Who started date night? Whose idea was that?
It's Mark's idea.
Really?
Yes.
Mark, are you the sentimental one in this relationship?
I think that would be a surprising conclusion to come to, but that may be where this interview is going.
No. Another surprise? The couple's first date, way back at Harvard after meeting in line for the bathroom at a frat party, almost didn't lead to a second date.
There was a major red flag.
What?
I'm like a type A student. At the end of the date, he said, I have a take-home midterm I need to do, but I'd rather hang out with you.
Which I thought would be just like a compliment, right? I mean, it's like, all right, I'm having fun. This is going
I
well.
was like, this guy's going nowhere. He's blowing off his homework.
From your standpoint, Mark, you're thinking that's a way to impress her, to say, I'm so interested in you, I'd much rather spend time with you than my homework.
Yeah, and I was pretty confident I could do the test fine. So it's
When Facebook launched, what did you think, Priscilla, your life would be with this man?
Not different than before he launched the website. No one in their wildest dreams would imagine that this is what would happen after that. It was just, it was his next project.
People say the success of Facebook certainly has a lot to do with Priscilla's influence on you. Would you agree with that?
I think that's got to be true.
You run things by her,
Yeah, but I think, but we also just talk about our philosophy on life, and then that ends up, having a lot of effects on, how I think about building my team at Facebook and the values with which we run the organization.
I like your marriage vows. And there's a line in the vows that you said about Mark, he makes you a better version of yourself. He makes you a better version of yourself. How?
He just believes in me so much, even when I don't believe in myself. Highlighting where I have strength where I may not see my own strength.
What does she do for you?
Well, I mean, you have this way of communicating kind of the soul of something. I think it's inspiring and something that we would all do better to, be able to do more of that.
So how many data categories do you store? Does Facebook store on the categories that you collect?
Senator, can you clarify what you mean by data categories?
There's some past reports that have been out there that indicate that Facebook collects about 96 data categories for those 2 billion active users. That's 192 billion data points that are being generated, I think, at any time from consumers globally. So how many does Facebook store out of that? Do you store any?
Senator, I'm not actually sure what that is referring to.
How many Facebook like buttons are there on non-Facebook web pages?
Congresswoman, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but we'll get back to you.
Is the number over 100 million?
I believe we've served the like button on pages more than that, but I don't know the number of pages that have the like button on actively.
How many Facebook share buttons are there on non-Facebook web pages?
I don't know the answer to that exactly off the top of my head either, but that's something that we can follow up with you on.
And do we think that's over 100 million? Likely. How many chunks of Facebook pixel code are there on non-Facebook web pages?
Congresswoman, you're asking some specific stats that I don't know off the top of my head, but we can follow up with you and get back to you on all of these.
Mr. Zuckerberg, I remember well your first visit to Capitol Hill back in 2010. You spoke to the Senate Republican High-Tech Task Force, which I chair. You said back then that Facebook would always be free. Is that still your objective?
Senator, yes, there will always be a version of Facebook that is free. It is our mission to try to help connect everyone around the world and to bring the world closer together. In order to do that, we believe that we need to offer a service that everyone can afford, and we're committed to doing that.
Well, if so, how do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
I see.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about.